do, it also represents, for the people that have been promoted, a big part of the challenges that they face. So this is it. This really kind of helps, I think, illustrate in a kind of an interesting graphic way the change that we go through, where we now have to lead people. We lead teams. We motivate people. We have to really begin to understand that. There's another important part of this transformation that I think a lot of newly promoted managers don't grasp, and I think it's a part of the transformation that a lot of organizations truthfully miss. Again, going back to my work in the consulting world, one of the things that we frequently experience when we were doing work with high potentials, folks that we were preparing for more complicated roles in the organization. Sometimes they were managers, sometimes they weren't. But we used to ask them, usually in one of the first or second meetings we'd have, who's on your team? Who are your teammates? And it was a pretty safe question to ask because we almost always knew what the answer was going to be. Most of them, the vast majority of them, would identify their functional group. So the HR professionals would say, well, it's my HR team. It's the other generalists. It's the recruiter. It's my benefits and payroll person. It's my, my HR manager. They would identify with their HR team. If they were relatively newly promoted managers, they would respond the same way. Well, I'm in HR, so of course it's my HR team. And for the newly promoted managers, it was always kind of interesting to tell them, well, it's not really your team anymore. You're now part of a different team. You're now part of the management team. You're continued to